Hey, what's up, North Point? Merry Christmas. I'm coming to you from the Nixa campus. We're kicking off. We've got the very first of our Give Back events happening right now. We have over 250 people serving, which is phenomenal. So thank you. Thank you for bringing back the Give Back bags full, just stuffed full of so much great stuff. You guys really shop like you're shopping for your own kids. And then signing up to volunteer. There are still 2 more opportunities. The Springfield event at the Dream Center next Saturday, the 14th, and then the Republic event the following Saturday, the 21st. Still so many opportunities to be involved. And so whether that's serving or bringing Give Back bags in, you can still bring Give Back bags to any of our locations and we'll get them to where they need to go for the next 2 events. But we're so thankful for you, so thankful for your partnership, for your generosity, for your willingness to be a part of this. It does not happen without great people like you. So thanks for being a part.
Well, good morning. It's great to see you. Can we give a round of applause for Nixa? Nixa, the Give Back event yesterday. There were some people there that were up before God was awake, and they stayed all day, and then they're there at the Saturday night service, so I don't assume that they're watching this at all, but you can tell them we gave them a round of applause. I also want to welcome all of our campuses, so help me do that. Nixa, Dream Center, we want to welcome the Dream Center. They're with us this morning. We want to welcome Republic. Welcome, Republic. We're glad that you're with us. Anyone watching online from anywhere, we're glad that you're here as well. I was going to say, but we stopped clapping because we're tired. Hey, we are in a new series, and it's because it's December. So we're always, every December, we're going to do a Christmas series. Costco's been doing this since August, so we're just catching up. And this series is called Unwrapped, Christmas Unwrapped, where we're actually looking at the first 3 Christmas gifts that were ever given that we have record of. You're like, what are those? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Now, I don't quite know the details on frankincense and myrrh, so Jeremy's going to be doing that the next 2 weeks, but we get to talk about gold today. And we're going to unwrap that, and it's a little play on words, because we're also going to unwrap our current understanding of Christmas, like the cultural Christmas that we see. Now, here's what we don't want you to do. We don't want you to show up at somebody's Christmas dinner or some gathering and be like, you know, that nativity scene's wrong. You know, it probably wasn't 3 of them. There were probably lots of wise men, and they weren't wise men. We don't want you doing that, okay? We just keep it to yourself. We'll be unwrapping some of the cultural norms and actually getting our cues from the Jesus story in Matthew 2. Now, in saying that, I do want to say this. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh were brought to Jesus by 3 wise men, commonly referred to as wise men. But you know the song, We 3 Kings of Orient are... You don't know the song? You know the song? Okay. Bearing gifts we travel so far. I just want to be clear on something. There weren't 3 of them. They weren't kings, and they weren't from Orient. But we will be reading about them today, okay? We're going to start by playing a game called Name That King. Now, I want you to participate. Every other campus, we want you to participate as well, okay? Name that king. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to throw a picture on the screen, and then we're all together going to say who that king is, okay? So let me step to the side. Name that king. All right, when you see this, these lions, who? Well, okay, the Lion King. Mufasa technically is right. And then it's Simba later, the Lion King. Okay, let's try again. This is, King Kong. When you see this girl, it's King Kong. We'll get it. Other campuses, they're like, Springfield's really behind on this one. All right, let's try again. This one. Burger King. BK. Have it your way. No, you rule. Thank you for that this morning. Okay, that's Burger King. Let's go to the next one. Who's this king? Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, Martin Luther King Jr. Let's go to the next one. Stephen King. Oh, good. I'm proud of you. You knew that. Don't read his books during Christmas time, okay? Let's go to the next one. Who's this? Larry King. And if you're like, I don't know who that is, that's okay. That's okay. That's Larry King. Let's go to the next one. Who's this? LeBron King James. That's who that is, okay? LeBron King James. And one more. King of Pop. King of Pop. Now, we would have put Elvis up there. If you're like, Elvis is next. I just forgot to send that to the graphics team. But yes, Elvis and all this stuff. There's a lot of ways we notice kings nowadays, we look at screens. Back then, back in the day, they didn't look at screens. They looked at stars. They actually looked at stars to find out who the king was, who the king is going to be, who's the person of importance. And magi, the three wise men that are referred to in the narrative, the magi actually were people, they were more than just stargazers. They were astrologers. They were astronomers. They were like the palm readers of the sky. And if that's weird for you, it gets even more bizarre. This is why this is so fascinating that they would then go and tell King Herod, we found a different king. So in your notes, I have this question. Is it good news that there's a new king here? Is it good news? This is actually the question of Christmas. This is the continuing question that we'll wrestle with today. Is it good news that there's a new king here? Well, for the Magi, as they were looking at the stars, back then, they would look at the stars, and the stars in the sky, they saw as deities, as gods, as some stronger than others. There were a few stars, about 6 or 7, that didn't move, which we would say are planets, but they would worship those stars most. And then the brightest and strongest star that led them by day was the sun. And so they would try to get to what's the power behind the sun, and this created a lot of different religions all the way up until Jesus' day. Okay, let's jump into the story, and I'll explain a little bit more. We'll have like Bible 101, Astrology 101, and History 101 all together, right? Okay, Matthew chapter 2 says, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. So pause for a second. We don't have a lot of details about the Magi, but we have enough details about them that historians are like, we have some really good clues about what's going on. They came from the east. The east was Babylon, northeast was Persia, so we kind of know during that time how people operate, like the deeply religious people, the Magi. We know something about them from other texts. They would go to kings' coronations, like when kings would become kings, whenever their community would recognize this is a person of royalty. If the Magi showed up and the Magi gave gifts, them being there said, hey, the stars aligned for this one. Like the gods are saying this is a king. This is a big deal. So when you read this, it's good to kind of know. I'm not saying go and read the magazines and do the personality quizzes, but the zodiac, this idea that like when you were born, are you Aries, are you a Pisces, or all these, I don't even know what I am, okay? But when you were born, that determines your personality, and that determines who you love, and that determines what color you like, and that determines this is why I get mad, is because I was born between that, and that's the stars aren't aligned for whatever, okay? Nowadays, people do that. And you may be into that. Other people that you know may be into that. You might be like, no, I'm way more evolved than that. But nowadays, people are into that, okay? People are into that. You can imagine over 2,000 years ago, how much more were people into what the sky is saying, what the stars are saying. And it was how religions got started. I mean, listen, do you remember the eclipse? Remember the eclipse that happened, what was it, last year? And we all went out and bought glasses because they said, don't stare at the sun, which I still have never met someone blind because of a sun stare. Like my mom's been saying, don't stare at the sun all my life. But specifically for these days, you're supposed to have glasses. So we all went, someone made millions, if not billions of dollars from the eclipse, and I feel like there are about 200 once-in-a-lifetime things that have happened in my lifetime, and this was one of them, and we're all looking up and taking pictures, and we are just enchanted by what's going on in the sky, even nowadays. Back then, it was their life. It was a roadmap, literally, for their spirituality. So they would look at the zodiac signs, and they would say, okay, right now, the house of Taurus is ruling the world because of this. Now, they didn't know that the earth was turning and the earth was kind of on a wobble axis. They didn't know any of this. But they're watching it, and then they would notice that the sun would rise and smack in the middle of the zodiac, okay? that during the day they would say, yeah, when it's nighttime, all these constellations come out. The sun is the ruler. So here's the theory. Here's what a lot of people who study the stars would say when they read this text would say, it is quite possible that there was a star at night that came in the middle of where the sun would be, because the language is used, and the star rose. We saw a star rising. Well, stars don't rise like that, but that would catch their attention. And they would travel by night because it's really hot during the day. And if they saw the star rising, and they would say, wait, that star is conquering all the different houses, all the different gods. This is a big deal. Now, they weren't Jewish, okay? I know you're like, are we going to read any more than these few verses? Yes, but just follow me. They weren't Jewish. How did they know that the star represented the King of the Jews? Well, because they studied all kinds of religious texts. So they probably had knowledge of some prophecies in the Old Testament that talk about it. I don't have it in your notes, but in Numbers where it says, I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star is emerging from Jacob. And the prophecy goes on and on. They probably had enough knowledge of these kinds of texts to know this is rising out of Israel. This is the king that they've been waiting for. King of the Jews. The Jews have been waiting for the Messiah. So they're following a star. Now, here's what's bizarre. They are like really, really spiritual. Are they Christians? No. Christianity didn't even exist. Are they Jewish? No. What are they? I don't know, a hodgepodge of whatever was working for them at the time. And somehow God's like, I'm going to reveal them. I'm going to reveal Jesus to them. They're going to be the ones to give the first Christmas gifts. So let's keep reading. In verse 4, when King Herod heard this, he was disturbed. Okay, he's disturbed when he heard that they had come to worship him, because obviously they're like, hey, a new king is here, and King Herod's disturbed. Which, by the way, there were probably more than, I'll say this with more confidence, there were more than 3 magi. 3 fits really nicely in your nativity set. We have 1, 2, fits really good in there. It was most likely kind of an entourage of magi, and this was intimidating. It even got all the attention of Jerusalem. He was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. In Bethlehem, in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Which was not like, hey, this is a good prophecy to remember. King Herod, recite this before you go to bed at night. Like, this was threatening to him. Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him. Now, I'm going to ask you a question like I would ask my kids. Do you think King Herod wanted to worship sweet baby Jesus? No, he didn't. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen, when it rose, went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child was with his mother. Now, here's what's interesting. The language used here, they come to a house, so this is not where Jesus was born, okay? And they see a child. The word there is child. It's not used for baby, which would be used in Luke. So a lot of people would say Jesus was probably younger than 2, but toddler age, okay? Could have been as old as 2, but probably a little younger, maybe 18 months old, just by the way that it's laid out. Now, why does that change things? Well, you don't need to go change your nativity set, but I'm just saying people worshiping a baby, I can understand. Have you ever been tempted to worship a toddler? Have you ever met a toddler? No part of me is like, and let me give you really expensive gifts. No. And let me worship you, toddler. No. So anyways, just food for thought. On coming to the house, they saw the child was with mother, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts, which we're going to unwrap the first one, the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. gold. This first gift we're going to unwrap. They gave gold. What's the significance of gold? Well, gold was, this is in your notes, a symbol of kingship on earth and a standard gift to honor a king. Gold, even nowadays, gold holds a lot of value. Gold jewelry holds a lot of value. If you are like waiting for doomsday and you have a closet full of gold bars, I will come visit you when that day comes. But I know that is a valuable closet. You have gold bars, gold teeth, makes your mouth way more valuable, apparently. There's just gold everywhere, okay? There's gold tinsel on your tree, makes it look more valuable. Gold has always held value. In a spiritual world, in like the ancient Near Eastern world, gold wasn't just a sign of value and worth and wealth. Gold was like, okay, this is fit for a king. This is fit for a ruler. This person that has gold is worthy of worship. Okay? This thing, whatever it was. So in the Old Testament, you have like when Moses comes down from the mountain with the 10 Commandments and the Israelites are worshiping a calf, a golden calf. We don't suggest that you go do that, but I'm just saying they were, this thing's worthy of worship. This is like our ruler for the moment, this crazy, chaotic moment in time. You also have what's called the Ark of the Covenant in the Old Testament, where the Jewish people believed the presence of God was here in the Ark of the Covenant. It was plated with gold. This is the God that rules us and is worthy of worship. You have Solomon, who had a golden throne. I mean, all throughout the Old Testament, you have gold linked to kingship and worship. And then you have the Magi. The Magi would have had gold with them. In fact, to the east, there probably was a trading route where gold would come in. And so the Magi would have had gold. But for them to give gold to baby toddler Jesus was for them to say, we believe this is a king. This is a king. This is the king of the Jews. That's a really big deal. If you unwrap the present gold, you will find that from like the earliest age, the earliest account of Jesus, we have he was declared king by people who didn't even believe in him. Pagans said, the stars are aligning. This king is a bigger and better king than the others. And we are going to travel to point that out. So a few things we learned from their journey, the Magi. First is this. Faith, like during what we have when we say, okay, I'm going to kind of like open myself up. What would God be telling me? What do I believe? Faith like that. Faith is not a virtue. Faith is a journey. Faith is a journey. Like they were spiritually open enough to experience Jesus. Their longings for God hadn't closed off. Now, I'm not saying that, hey, you should go read the stars and find your fortune. I'm not saying that. Here's what I am saying. What if we stayed spiritually open to experience Jesus? Spiritually open to experience him in ways that are beyond us. Spiritually open. Because in the 21st century Midwest, okay, which is all of us at every campus, and if you're watching online and you're like, I'm not in the Midwest, you probably have experience here too. But 21st century Midwest, the way we view faith is very different than an ancient Near Eastern culture, okay? 21st century Midwest, faith is certainty. Faith is like, my faith is as strong as I'm absent of doubt. That makes sense? Like psychological certainty. I have faith whether it makes sense or not. I have more faith. Jesus said mustard seed. I have faith of like a house. Like I got faith. Okay, you get, this is in its certainty. In an ancient Near Eastern context, faith is not certainty. Faith is curiosity. Faith is the ability not to be certain, but to commit in the face of uncertainty and to pursue God. We don't know if that star leads us to the king. I mean, it says they were overjoyed, so there's probably some sense of disappointment along the journey. We just know it's supposed to. There's curiosity. In a 21st century Midwest context, faith is going to be who's in, who's out. Okay, if you believe certain things, you're in. If you don't believe certain things, you're out. In an ancient Near Eastern context, it is way more messy than that. It's going to be, what if God's trying to bring everybody closer? Who is the God of the universe? It's question-based. It's wrestling. In fact, Israel, which was the people of God in the Old Testament, Israel means to wrestle with God, to strive with God. They're God wrestlers. Faith is a journey, which is really good news because I don't know about you, but if I think faith is a destination, I get really frustrated. But if it's a journey, if it means this Christmas season, I want to stay spiritually open to how God would speak to me. I don't have to be sure about everything. I don't have everything neatly packed up, all the relationships fixed. I want to be spiritually open. I don't want to be spiritually closed. And I know just because people go to church, just because I've been in church for a good portion of my life, I can be spiritually closed. So it shows it's a journey. Here's the other thing that the Magi teach us, that Jesus is not just a baby, he's a king. The significance of gold given to Jesus was a really big deal, especially when you picture what type of house would Mary and Joseph have lived in. I mean, there wasn't even room in the inn. What type of, they were not rich people. In fact, King Herod later gives a decree in the story where he says, kill all the babies 2 and under, because he's trying to kill the Messiah. And so then Mary, Joseph, and Jesus have to flee to Egypt. And a lot of people believe that they used the gold that was given for their journey into Egypt. They didn't have a lot of money. But he was king. He was king. And the Magi were not at a ceremony or a coronation. They were at a house. So if pagan stargazers were willing to say, hey, that's the king that the Jews are waiting for, and they're willing to tell that to King Herod, what does that mean about us? Is it good news that there's a new king here? Well, it all depends on the type of king, if it's good news or not. Here's a few things about King Jesus that are really, really unique. If you have in your notes, here's the first fill-in for that. If you're looking for a ruler, Jesus is a shepherd. If you're looking for a ruler, Jesus is a shepherd. Now, we're all looking for rulers. When we think king, we think like, I want someone who's going to dominate. I want someone who's going to fix the situation with force. And the Jewish people wanted that kind of Messiah. Overturn Rome, please. Like we're being oppressed again. And Jesus comes on the scene. He's a ruler. I mean, he's the King of Kings, okay? But he's a shepherd. But they wanted a ruler. Like they were used to following a ruler with anger issues. Moses was kind of like their role model. Moses was the one who brought the law to them. But Moses had an anger issue. It actually kept him out of the promised land in the Moses story. But this was an iconic figure for them. Might be like God, Moses, okay? Moses, the way that the first 7 chapters, here's our history lesson. The way the first 7 chapters of Matthew are laid out, it mirrors the Moses story. So Moses, when he's born, Pharaoh is out to kill babies to kill Moses. When Jesus is born, King Herod is out to kill babies to kill Jesus. Moses goes to Egypt, and Jesus goes to Egypt when he flees. Moses then delivers people out of Egypt. Jesus comes out of Egypt. Moses then splits the waters, the sea. Jesus gets baptized. Moses goes to the top of the mountain to bring down the law. Jesus goes to the mount and gives the sermon, the famous Sermon on the Mount, where he quotes the law of Moses. He keeps quoting the law, but he gives his interpretation as the king, as the ruler. So if you're Jewish and you're reading the story or you're hearing the story in order like this, you would go, wait, is this the Moses story? No. This is the real ruler. This is the real king. This is this story. But they wanted a ruler. Like we want a fight, and we want the ruler to win. And we still want this today. I'll just put it this way. I'm going to bring you into my confession. Ready? How many of us watched the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight? Raise your hand. We're going to have an altar call in the end for every one of you sinners that stayed up late to watch blood. Okay? Now, let's just do this. How many of you were just waiting for Mike Tyson to knock out that influencer, that Instagram influencer? Yeah. How many of you were just waiting for Netflix to buffer the whole time? All of us? Dream Center, you too? Yeah, all of us, okay, all of us. Watching the fight, here's the thing. When we watched the fight, I'll just confess to you, I was hoping for a really good fight. I told the girls, you can't watch the fight. Like my daughters, you can't watch it. I thought it was going to be bloody. I thought there's going to be a ruler. I kind of wanted a knockout. You're like, you are sick. You watched it for the same reason, okay? We were all really like, come on, we want someone to rule. And then it was like a dance. You had Mike Tyson chewing his glove half the time, which was better than chewing an ear, so he's doing better. But there wasn't a fight. And the next morning, Piper, my oldest daughter, she got up. She's like, Dad, how's the fight? And I'm like, come crawl into bed. You can watch it. I mean, it's fine. It's nothing big. Marvel fights from Marvel movies are worse than this. And then she got bored and she left, okay? So we want a ruler. Come on. Fix it. Come on, God. Like, you can, right? And here's the problem. If he was that kind of king, sure, he would fix it on your behalf, but he would also fix it in that way when you're the problem. And that would crush you. That would crush me. We don't need the King of Kings to be a ruler like that. We need the King of Kings to be a shepherd. That at an empty Christmas table, there's one seat that's empty, 2, 3, Christmas is different. Could be because of decisions you've made, decisions they made. Could be because that person's not here anymore. You don't need a ruler that's going to say, look what happened. We need a ruler that's a shepherd. Like, we need a king that's a shepherd and guides us and gives us rest and calms our souls. We need that kind of shepherd. We need a shepherd that's got all the power but doesn't use it against us. What the Jewish people didn't know is that Rome wasn't the enemy. There is an enemy, and Jesus defeated the enemy. Rome wasn't the enemy. And we need that kind of king. So is it good news that there's a new king here? Well, I think so. If this king's a shepherd. Here's the second thing King Jesus teaches us. And again, you're like, he's king because of the gold? Oh, yeah. If you just knew the Magi giving gold, what it meant historically, you'd go, they don't do that. Especially don't do that to toddlers, to babies. But they did. And they were saying, this is a king. And then God said in a dream, now go and don't tell Herod. So the second one is, if you're seeking signs, Jesus will satisfy. I do believe that the Magi were seeking signs. They were like looking at the sky, going, okay, what stars are in charge tonight? And where'd that one come from? That's the place of the sun. They were looking for signs. Signs, signs, signs. We will find signs all the time this time of year. If you have people who are coming to see you, they're going to see signs. Springfield, 70 miles. Springfield, 30 miles. And you know, if you're on a road trip, those last 60 miles are hard. Like, they are the worst and the longest miles. But they're going to see signs that say you're getting closer, but you're not quite there. If you're going somewhere, hopefully like Florida, okay, that you're like, Florida, 1,000 miles, and it starts to go down, down, down. This is what I'm saying. Signs tell you there's a destination, but signs are never the destination. Signs are never where you're trying to land. You're always trying to follow the sign to the thing that you have your hope in. That's what they did, and they found Jesus, and that's the story. For us, we have signs internally when we say things like this. I can't wait to get a week off of work. And you're like, you're getting a week off of work? I can't wait to get a day off of work. If you're a student, I can't wait to get a month off of work or off of school, however long. I feel like my kids just get more time off of school than ever. But I can't wait for Christmas morning. I can't wait for Christmas Eve. I can't wait. Those are internal signs. It's like an alarm system, like on your dashboard on your car, being like, check engine, check engine, check engine. These are internal signs. When you get to that thing, a week of rest, Christmas morning, you finally make it to your family's house, family makes it here safe, it won't satisfy. Because we've done that. We did this last Christmas. Some of you did this last month in Thanksgiving. The only thing that satisfies, it sounds so churchy and so Christmas story, just hearing out, is the hope that Jesus is with us. And then experiencing the reality that he is. It's the only thing that satisfies. I mean, listen, we live in Missouri, okay? There are signs around you of this is Jesus's birth time, and this is like his birthday month, and there's signs everywhere. You go to Branson, and you're riding a train that's going to tell you the Jesus story down Silver Dollar City. Like, signs are everywhere, pointing to the King. You can experience King Jesus now, and he will satisfy you. But it requires slowing down and practicing a few things. It'd be like this. If you're taking notes, this isn't in your notes, but you can put this in there. Or if you have a good memory, remember this. Scripture before phone. If for the month of December, if you were to say, before I pick up my phone, before I check my bank account, before I check my email, before I check my messages, before I check my missed calls, can you already feel the anxiety rising? You're like, oh my goodness, that was me this morning. I know, that's all of us. But if before you reach over and grab your phone, think on a scripture. Just think. Now, you can have a Bible next to you. You can open it and read a scripture. But I just want to say, what if you were to even think about a scripture? Here's one: gold, frankincense, myrrh. Now, I'm going to count on Jeremy to tell me what frankincense and myrrh are most in the next 2 weeks. But what does it mean that they offered Jesus gold? Think about that in the morning. Maybe it's the scripture, be still and know that I am God. Maybe it's a scripture, in the beginning, God created. Anything that you would say, that's easy to remember, I can remember, just wake before phone scripture. You'll probably experience King Jesus in a new way. And you'll notice your anxiety levels are going down. Here's another one. Less. Just less. Buy less, do less. It's Christmas time, so you're like, I can't buy less. How am I going to buy less? Okay, try it. Just try to buy less. Just try to go a little bit more minimal in your purchasing. And do less. You don't have to schedule every single night leading up until Christmas, and then you're like, I'm exhausted going into the new year, and then you're going to burn out on your New Year's goals on like January 6th, and then less. And believe, like give it a shot. What if King Jesus, that again, it's recorded, people who didn't even believe in this story thought he was king. What if that king is willing to meet you? In the less, not in the more. And then the other one would be presents, not presents like under your tree, okay? You're like, you just said buy less. No, presents. Give people the gift of presents. Give them like attention. Put your phone away. Sit with them. Look your children in the eye. When you're talking to a neighbor, talk to your neighbor. Don't be in a hurry. Give them that gift of presents. It's in doing this, when you're at a dinner table, even think to yourself, Jesus is here with us. Now, depending on the dinner table, you don't need to say that out loud. That could be weird to some people. But knowing you can experience the satisfaction of the hope of Christmas in every day. This is why we send the Advent email. If you haven't gotten it, you can still go to northpointchurch.tv/Advent, and you put in your email, and every day we send you an Advent email that gives a reflection, a piece of art, all these things. Why do we do that? Because we believe that King Jesus can be experienced daily during this season. And then the last thing that King Jesus teaches us, if you're an outsider, if you're an outsider, Jesus is with you. If you're an outsider, Jesus is with you. He came like an outsider. He came to the outsiders. The rest of his story is like, listen, he might have been given gold, but he was not royalty. He wasn't looked at as a king from all the people. No, he came as an outsider. If you feel like you're on the outside, in any area of your life, to know Jesus is with me. This is the story of Christmas. This is how God showed up in the world. These are the type of people God continued to interact with. Staying spiritually open to the reality that Jesus is with me and can be experienced today would make me realize I'm not alone. I'm not alone. In fact, if you're looking for God this season, this is your last fill-in. When you're looking for God, when you look for God, you will find that he's already found you. And this story teaches us that the Magi, were they looking for God, I don't know, they were looking for signs, and they saw a sign that led them to the King of the Jews. But God already found them. Like, God came to them, they didn't come to God. God led them to him. You see what I'm saying? Like, this, if you're looking for God this season, and through all the stress, you're looking through all the disappointment, through all the joy and the busyness, to know, well, he's here. And now that he's here, there is a reality we have to face. Is it good news that there's a new king here? And what do I do with this king? Okay? So here's you're going to judge it. This is a third of our couch from our current living room. Current couch, current living room, okay? If you want to zoom in on this bad boy, I am proud of this. These are patches, straight off Amazon. This is not supposed to happen in the couch. You see this? This is not supposed to happen. It's all patched up. Lisa and I have been in the market to buy a new couch, but somewhere in the last 10 years, I don't know what happened to couches, but they got so expensive. I'm like, oh my word. And there's all these features. I just need to sit in one. I need to be comfortable. This couch, though, we're kind of at the point that we're like, well, let's buy more patches. Should we just keep patching it up? Let me tell you about this seat. If you're here in Springfield afterwards, you can just come and sit on this seat. This couch, give it a second. You see this? It's not quite zero gravity where it gets your feet above your head, but to save the money, you just put pillows under there and okay. This couch, I love this seat. It makes weird noises, but I love this seat. Love it. It's so comfortable. Yes, there's cushion popping out here. Somehow the tear shot from here to here. I love this seat. And if you came over to our house for, let's say, the Super Bowl that the Chiefs will win again, but if you came over to our house, I would tell you can sit in any seat you want. Make yourself at home. I'm secretly hoping you do not choose this seat, okay? This is the seat. So if you're part of our JXP group and you heard me say that and you're like, you didn't mean it, I didn't mean it. No, I was hoping you wouldn't take this seat. This is my favorite seat. This seat's all patched up and broken and all this stuff, but this is mine. This is my seat. And when we come face to face with the reality that God has been here the whole time, we're looking for him, but he's been here. King Jesus found you. You didn't find him. Now, you don't have gold to give him. Actually, if we can get the offering buckets, can we? I'm just kidding. I'm joking. We don't have gold to give him. We have the throne of our heart that's probably all patched up, broken down, but we like it. This is my seat. And you may not have given, like you may not be on the throne of your heart, but you've given it away to someone else. And they've gotten really comfortable. And we'll use the excuse like, oh, God wouldn't want this. There's patches on it. He wouldn't want that. No. He's the type of king that's born in a feeding trough. He's the type of king born to a family with no money. It doesn't matter what the seat looks like. If it's the seat, if it's the throne of your heart, he wants it. Not so that he can rule it with an iron fist and say, now you're my subject. No. Actually, so he can serve you in unique ways through his presence and his words and his life and his sacrifice. But we got to give him the seat. For me to get out of this seat is like, okay, anyone can have it. I am a little embarrassed by the state of our couch. When I'm sitting in it, I'm very comfortable. And this is how we feel spiritually. King Jesus, we don't have gold to give you. We have a pretty beat up, patched up seat of our lives. We've given it away. We sit in it. And now the choice, knowing God's been here the whole time and he found us, is how would you like to respond to King Jesus? And maybe for you, you would be like King Herod. Not like killing innocent people, okay? But you'd be like King Herod. He goes, I'm not getting off my throne. I'm not going to get off it. In fact, push the button. I'm staying here for a while, okay? Maybe that's you. You're allowed to respond that way. I just wouldn't encourage it. Being the king of our lives doesn't work that well. Maybe for you, it's been the type of year where Jesus hasn't been king, but you would like to let him be. And there's not a lot of the year left, but it's not about that. It's like today, Jesus, can you be king? This is what I have to offer. Or maybe you've never done that before. And I would encourage you, as I pray in your own way that would say, King Jesus, take over. Be king of my life. So let's pray together and come face to face with reality. God's always been here. He found you. What now? So Lord, thank you. Thank you for the story that isn't just a story. It's continuing to be written. Thank you for being the type of king who shepherds us, who leads us with compassion and love. And God, I pray that all of us would be faced with this moment and give you the seed of our lives. And may we see, God, the goodness that flows from you this Christmas season. May we experience that in new ways and help us to show that to others. In Jesus' name, amen.